Hey buddy, it's me. The one they said didn't belong. The one who showed up in a beat-up Honda while they rolled in Teslas. The one they left off the guest list because my paycheck smelled like fryer grease. I'm the brother your family warns you about. The cautionary tale who never amounted to anything. But on the day my sister said, "I do," in front of 300 people who'd spent years laughing at me, I walked in with something they never saw coming. And when the string quartet stopped mid-note and every phone in the room lit up with the same push notification, well, let's just say the bride's veil wasn't the only thing that dropped. Grab your drink. This is gonna take a minute. Actually, it's gonna take 5 parts. Because revenge isn't a punchline. It's a 5-course meal and I'm the chef. My name's Jake Brennan, 32 years old, born and raised in Willow Creek, Ohio, population 28,000 and shrinking. The kind of town where the high school football scoreboard still has my name on it from 2009, but nobody claps anymore. I grew up in a split level on Maplewood Drive. White siding, blue shutters, the mailbox mom painted with little daisies every spring. Dad worked the line at the GM plant until the layoffs in '08. Mom waitressed at Denny's until her knees gave out. My sister, Lauren, was the golden child, straight A's, cheer captain, full ride to Ohio State. Me? I was the kid who fixed the neighbor's lawnmowers for 20 bucks and spent the cash on comic books. We weren't poor, but we weren't them. Them being Lauren's fiancé's family, the Harringtons. Old money from Cleveland. Their idea of roughing it is flying coach. I took the safe route after high school. Community college, associates in business, then straight into the only job that would take me without a bachelor's. Night shift manager at Burger Bonanza. Yeah, the place with the neon cow. 10 years. 10 years of grease burns and 3 a.m. mop water. I made assistant manager at 25, full manager at 28. 42 grand a year before taxes. Enough to rent a 1-bedroom above the laundromat, keep my '09 Civic running, and send mom $100 every birthday. Lauren used to call it adorable, like my life was a sitcom she could flip past. But here's the thing nobody knew. 6 months ago, I quit. Not officially. I still wore the polyester polo, still clocked in, still smelled like onions. But every night after close, I drove to the public library and worked until the lights shut off. I'd been building something, an app, a stupid, simple idea that started as a joke in the break room. See, at Burger Bonanza, we threw out perfectly good food every night. Burgers that sat too long under the heat lamp, fries that got too soggy. Corporate policy. I started sneaking the leftovers to the homeless camp behind the Walmart. One night, this kid, maybe 19, asked if I could text him when we were tossing stuff. So I did. Then his friends asked. Then their friends. I built a bare-bones app in my bedroom. Called it Lefty. Users pinged local restaurants. Restaurants pinged users when surplus food was about to hit the dumpster. No cost. Just coordinates and a timer. I launched it soft in Willow Creek. Within a month, we had 30 restaurants and 200 users. By month 3, Columbus papers were calling it the Uber for leftovers. I kept it quiet, told exactly 0 family members. Because the last time I'd bragged about anything, Lauren laughed so hard she snorted champagne. Fast forward to February. Lauren's engagement party at the Harringtons' lake house. I showed up in my one decent blazer Men's Warehouse clearance rack. The valet smirked when I handed him my keys. Inside, crystal chandeliers, string quartet, waiters with trays of things I couldn't pronounce. Lauren hugged me like a charity case. "Jakey, you made it!" Her diamond caught the light and nearly blinded me. Her fiancé, Preston Harrington IV, yes, the 4th, shook my hand with the grip of a man who'd never held anything heavier than a golf club. "So you're the infamous Burger Prince," he said. The room tittered. I smiled. Guilty. Later, Mom pulled me aside by the ice sculpture. "Honey, Lauren's worried the wedding photos might look inconsistent. You understand, right? Maybe just the ceremony. Then you could head out before the reception. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. The invitation never came. Not an email, not a text, not a save-the-date magnet. Nothing. April rolled around. I saw the venue on Instagram, Willow Creek Country Club, the one with the glass wall overlooking the golf course. Hashtag Harrington happily ever after. I drove past one night after my shift. The parking lot was already being measured for tents. White chairs in perfect rows. A sign, Lauren and Preston, May 18th. I sat in my car until the security guard tapped the window. That was the night everything cracked open. I went home, opened my laptop, and stared at the lefty dashboard. 4,200 users, 87 restaurants. A message from a venture capitalist in San Francisco who'd somehow found my burner email. Heard you're the guy solving food waste one burger at a time. Coffee next time you're in the Bay. I closed the lid. Then I opened it again and started typing an email I never thought I'd send. Mini cliffhanger. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a calendar invite. Lauren Brennan and Preston Harrington. Wedding rehearsal dinner, RSVP required. Except my name wasn't on it. Someone had forwarded it by accident. And attached was a group chat screenshot. Lauren's bridesmaids. Thank God they didn't invite the fry cook. Can you imagine him in the photos? I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Then I hit reply all. I didn't send the reply all. Not yet. Instead, I printed the screenshot, folded it into a square, and slid it into the visor of my Civic like a parking ticket from God. The next 6 weeks were a spiral. I still showed up to Burger Bonanza. Still smiled at teenagers who called me sir. Still scraped gum off the underside of tables. But every time the fryer beeped, I heard Lauren's laugh from the engagement party. Every time a customer complained about cold fries, I saw Preston's smirk. Mom called once. Jakey, the wedding's getting expensive. Lauren's stressed. Maybe just send a card. I said sure. Hung up. Threw the phone across the laundromat. Cracked the screen but kept working. Like me, I stopped sleeping. The app grew anyway, 5,800 users, a local news segment, a GoFundMe for servers that raised 12 grand in a weekend. I hired my first employee, Marisol, a line cook from Taco Bell who coded better than I did. We worked in the library basement until the janitor kicked us out. But the wedding loomed. May 18th circled in red on every calendar I owned. I tried to let it go. I really did. Took the high road, the low road, the off-ramp. Told myself family was family. Told myself Lauren was just caught up in the Harrington glow. Told myself a lot of lies. Then came the final gut punch. 2 weeks before the wedding, I got a text from my cousin Derek, the only one who still talked to me. Derek, dude, you see this? Attached was a video. Lauren's bachelorette weekend in Nashville. The bridesmaids wore matching pink sashes. IDO crew. They were drunk on a party bus, singing karaoke. Then the camera panned to a cake shaped like the Burger Bonanza mascot, a cartoon cow in a chef hat. Lauren smashed it with a bedazzled mallet while screaming, "This is for every time my brother embarrassed me." The room exploded in laughter. Someone yelled, "Fry boy forever." I watched it on loop until 4 a.m. The next day, I called in sick to work. First time in 10 years. Drove to the cemetery where Dad was buried. Sat on the grass and told him everything. The app, the wedding, the cake. I asked him what he'd do. The wind answered with silence. That night, I opened a new note on my phone titled Operation Cow Tipper. I wrote one line. They want a fry cook? I'll give them a 5-star restaurant. Then I called the venture capitalist in San Francisco. His name was Raj Patel. Spoke so fast I barely kept up. Said he'd fly to Ohio if I could show him traction. I told him to bring a suit, black tie preferred. I didn't tell him why. The fall wasn't just public humiliation. It was realizing the people who were supposed to love you unconditionally had priced your worth in Instagram likes. But here's the thing about hitting bottom. The only way left is up. And sometimes you bring a ladder made of receipts. Mini cliffhanger. 1 week before the wedding, an envelope arrived at my apartment. Thick cream paper, gold foil embossed. Inside, a single card. Mr. Jake Brennan, +1 cordially invited to the wedding of Lauren Brennan and Preston Harrington, 4 black tie required. No note, no apology, just a post-it from Mom. Preston insisted, please don't make a scene. I held the invitation up to the light. The watermark was a tiny cow. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Didn't RSVP. Not yet. Instead, I built a war room in the laundromat basement. Folding tables, white bars, a coffee pot that never cooled. Marisol thought I was losing it. Maybe I was. Step 1, Intel. I created a fake Instagram at Willow Creek Catering Co. and followed every bridesmaid, groomsman, and Harrington cousin. They posted everything. Rehearsal dinner menu, Wagyu sliders, truffle mac. Florist walkthrough, 30,000 roses flown in from Ecuador. Even the seating chart PDF leaked in a group chat. I was at table 27, back corner, near the kitchen. Perfect. Step 2, leverage. Raj Patel landed in Columbus on a Tuesday. I picked him up in my Civic. He wore a hoodie that cost more than my rent. We drove to the library basement. I showed him Lefty Live. Real-time pings from a diner tossing surplus chili. A van of volunteers picked it up in 7 minutes. Raj asked the magic question. How much to scale this nationally by summer? I told him a number that made my palms sweat. He didn't blink. Done. But I want a demo at a high-profile event. Something that gets press. I smiled. I know just the place. Step 3, the bait. I cold emailed the wedding planner, Claudia Voss. Cleveland's answer to J. Lowe in the wedding planner. Subject line, complimentary upgrade for Lauren and Preston local startup success story. Attached was a mock-up press release, tech entrepreneur and brother of the bride, to gift revolutionary app at reception. I photoshopped my face onto a Forbes cover. Claudia called within an hour. Jake? Lauren never mentioned you were this. She likes to keep family humble, I said. Claudia wanted a meeting. I suggested the country club the day before the wedding. Bring Lauren. It's a surprise. Step 4, the switch. Lefty was good. But for the wedding, I needed something flashier. I spent 72 hours coding a new feature. Lefty Lux. Restaurants could donate high-end surplus, think wedding leftovers, to charities in real time with branded push notifications. I partnered with 3 Cleveland steakhouses willing to donate filet mignon medallions at 10 p.m. on May 18th. The notifications would hit every phone in the room. Step 5, the wild card. I still hadn't decided if I'd actually attend. Part of me wanted to ghost, to let the app speak for itself while I watched from the parking lot. But another part, the part that still slept with Dad's old dog tags, wanted to see Lauren's face when the truth hit. I tried on the tux I'd rented. Looked like a penguin playing dress-up. Returned it. Bought a charcoal suit off the rack at Macy's instead. No tie. Marisol asked the question I'd been avoiding. What if they still laugh? I didn't have an answer. The night before the wedding, I drove to the country club at 2 a.m. The tents were up, glowing like lanterns. I walked the perimeter, memorizing exits, counting security cameras. Found the service entrance by the kitchen. Left a Lefty sticker on the door. On the way out, I passed the bridal suite window. Light was on. Lauren stood in her robe, practicing vows in the mirror. She looked small. I almost knocked. Instead, I got back in my car and drove home. Mini cliffhanger. At 6 a.m. on wedding day, my phone exploded. A push notification from Lefty, except I hadn't scheduled one. Urgent. Willow Creek Country Club surplus detected. 300 filet mignon medallions, 40 pounds caviar, 12 cases Dom Perignon. Available now. Someone had hacked the demo, and the RSVP list just went live to 12,000 users. I stared at the notification until the screen went black. Marisol called. "Jake, what the hell? The server's on fire. Not hacked. Scheduled. By me. At 3 a.m. in a sleep-deprived haze. I'd set the demo to auto-deploy at sunrise. 12,000 users. Half of Willow Creek. I threw on jeans, raced to the laundromat. Marisol was already rerouting vans. We've got 3 food trucks en route. Local news is asking questions. I told her to let it ride. By 8 a.m., the country club parking lot looked like a music festival. Minivans, church buses, a guy in a Tesla with a cooler in the trunk. Security tried to shut it down. Couldn't. The food was legally donated, signed contracts. Claudia Voss called screaming. I let it go to voicemail. At 10 a.m., I put on the charcoal suit. No tie. Drove to the club. The valet remembered me from the engagement party. His smirk was gone. Inside, chaos. Bridesmaids in robes shrieked as volunteers loaded chafing dishes into vans. Preston stood on a table in his tux, yelling at a cop who clearly wanted to be anywhere else. Lauren spotted me across the lawn. Her face went white. "Jake? What is this?" I smiled. "Breakfast for the needy. You always said I was good at feeding people." She grabbed my arm. "Stop it. Now. Can't. Contracts are signed." Preston stormed over. "You're ruining my wedding." "No," I said. "I'm upgrading the guest list." That's when the news chopper showed up. By noon, #LeftyWedding was trending. CNN called it the most expensive food drive in Ohio history. The caviar alone was worth $40,000. I slipped away before the ceremony, watched from my car as guests arrived, confused, clutching gift bags while volunteers handed out boxed lunches. The ceremony went on late, chaotic, but on. I didn't go inside. Instead, I drove to the homeless camp behind Walmart, handed out filet mignon on paper plates. A kid asked if I was famous. I told him no. At 7 p.m., my phone buzzed. Raj Patel. Forbes wants the exclusive. Tomorrow. And Shark Tank called. I didn't answer. At 9 p.m., the reception was in full swing. I knew because the Lefty Lux notification hit. Willow Creek Country Club, dessert surplus. 300 chocolate ganache cakes. Available in 15 minutes. I parked across the street. Watched the glass wall light up as phones buzzed. The string quartet stopped. Then the lights flickered. Someone had cut the power. Mini cliffhanger. When the backup generators kicked in, the giant screen behind the head table, meant for the couple's montage, lit up with a single slide. Lefty. Feeding the world. One wedding at a time. Followed by my face. Forbes cover. Real this time. And under it, in Lauren's handwriting, scanned from her childhood diary. I wish Jake would just disappear. The room went silent. Then the screaming started. I walked in through the service entrance. No one stopped me. The kitchen staff parted like I was Moses. Lauren stood at the head table, veil askew, mascara streaking. Preston's face was redder than the fillet. Mom saw me first. "Jakey?" I didn't answer. Walked straight to the mic. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, voice steady. "Most of you know me as the fry cook. Some of you know me as the brother who wasn't invited. Tonight, I'd like to introduce myself properly." I clicked the remote. The screen cycled. Lefty stats. 50,000 users. $2.1 million seed round closed yesterday. A photo of the food drive, smiling faces, full bellies. Then the diary page. Lauren lunged. "Turn it off." Security moved. I raised a hand. "I'm a +1. Check the list." Preston grabbed the mic. This is trespassing. No, I said. This is dinner. I clicked again. A live feed from the parking lot, volunteers still loading cakes into vans. A banner. Donated by Lauren and Preston Harrington. Congratulations. The room erupted. Some guests laughed. Some filmed. A few started clapping. Lauren was crying now. Not pretty tears. Sobbing. Why are you doing this? I looked at her, really looked. The sister who used to let me sleep in her bed during thunderstorms. Who taught me to ride a bike. Who stopped speaking to me in high school when her friends called me Burger Boy. Because you taught me? I said, that love has a price tag. Tonight, I paid it forward. I set the mic down, walked out. In the parking lot, Raj waited with a camera crew. Ready for your close-up? I shook my head. Not yet. I drove to the cemetery, sat by Dad's grave until dawn, told him the whole story, asked if I'd gone too far. The sun came up over the cornfields. My phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. I'm sorry. Can we talk? I didn't reply. 3 months later, Lefty was in 12 cities. I sold 20% to Raj for $15 million. Quit Burger Bonanza for good. Lauren and Preston separated before the honeymoon. The country club sued for damages. Settled out of court. Mom moved into my new condo downtown. We don't talk about the wedding. Sometimes I drive past the old house on Maplewood. The daisies on the mailbox are gone. I kept one thing from that night, the Lefty sticker from the service door. It's on my laptop now. Revenge didn't feel like victory. It felt like exhaling after holding your breath for 10 years. But here's the truth they don't put in the movies. The people who hurt you most aren't villains. They're just scared. Scared of looking small next to someone who refused to stay small. I don't hate Lauren anymore. Pity her. Because she'll spend the rest of her life explaining why her brother fed 300 strangers with her wedding cake. And me? I'm still Jake. Still allergic to mushrooms. Still tip 25%. Just don't ask me to cater your wedding. Closing line. Some stories end with a bang. Mine ended with a push notification. And the quiet realization that the best revenge isn't destroying them. It's becoming someone they can't ignore. So friends, hope you like my story. If yes, hit the like button and subscribe for next amazing revenge stories. Till then, stay blessed.